Good afternoon. Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, August 28th. This is the midday update for the daily scan. And had NVIDIA reported last night. They beat on pretty much everything, but I think the street wanted them to beat even more. They just don't catch a break, I guess. But it's not really. I'm looking at the chart. It's really not moving that much right now. So we'll look at it in a second. So I am not a financial planner, so this is for educational purposes only. Let's take a look at what the market's doing. It is 11:22 a.m. on the East Coast right now. And let's take a look at the aggressive sectors first. So see, pretty much going sideways today. Down first, came back up. Now it's just pretty much right where it started. Money flow is lower though, however. Make this a little bit bigger. So money flow is coming down slightly. Technology is up, financials down, discretionary is trending down, communications trending down, and industrials is down. So the aggressive sectors are not really showing us a whole lot of strength even after NVIDIA earnings, but defensive sectors aren't either. Healthcare down, staples down, energy flat, utilities down, materials down. So actually the aggressives look a little bit better, but overall the whole market is pretty lackadaisical, I would say. This is the rotation growth versus value, definitely up. So that's definitely showing some risk on attitude in the market. Discretionary versus staples is pretty flat. Technology is up. So NVIDIA is leading technology higher. Semiconductors is pretty flat though, which is surprising. I would have thought this would have been up as well. And internet is up nicely today. So we'll take a look at the Magnificent Seven stocks here in a minute. Let's look at the Russell. Russell is actually down slightly. Went up at first, came back down, sitting right on the 50. It is looking a little bit weaker than the rest of the indexes. However, it's growth that's doing the best. So growth is doing better than value. So that's positive. That's a very positive sign for Russell 2000. So just needs to start moving higher. That's all. Money flow also is lower. And then finally, the NASDAQ with pivot points. See, we went right up to the second resistance level this morning. So we'll see what happens right here. That could be final resistance. In fact, it went up there right in the beginning and pulled all the way back and went right back up to it again. So we might just bounce across sideways in this range. We'll see, but advancers are down versus decliners. And up volume versus down volume is pretty much flat. So again, not really a lot of conviction in what I'm seeing here. The dashboard, the Dow is a little bit lower, S&P is a little bit higher, NASDAQ 100 is quite a bit higher, pulling back right now though. So was moving up, got right back up, just like I showed you where the resistance levels were, got right back up to that resistance level and now it's starting to get rejected. So we'll see what happens into the end of the day. The VIX is very, very low. VIX is way down there, by the way. So we'll keep an eye on that. Bonds, 10-year is lower, dollar is lower, gold is higher, oil is pretty much flat, went down and then came back again. And then Bitcoin is up today. Ethereum, Bitcoin is up higher, more than Ethereum. Ethereum is up a little bit too, but Bitcoin is outperforming it right now. So if we look at the sectors, you see technology, communications, services, the two strongest or aggressive sectors are the only ones that are positive, and they're on the top. The bottom is healthcare, staples, and real estate. Those are all defensive sectors, and they're at the bottom. The breadth isn't really telling us much one way or the other, advancers versus decliners. And these are the earnings calendar coming up. We got Marvell tonight after the close, Zscaler, which actually looks like it might be a good entry point. That is next Tuesday after the close. Broadcom is moving higher as well. They report next week. So a number of these large ones report. Micron, that one looks pretty good too. That they report on the 24th. And then for the top 10 combined list, We've got Credo, which is really just shooting higher after a, let's actually look at that one. After a hammer, that day that I did the hammers, so you can see the hammer right there. And since then, it's just steadily gone higher. It's now broken out. So Credo is at 130. The hammer happened back here. Top of it was at about 106. So 25 points in about a week or so for that one. So that's one of the top 10 stocks. Let's see, Soundhound. Soundhound was also, I'll have to look at that and see if it's also still in the short squeeze list. But Soundhound looks like it's getting ready to move higher too. So that might be a good entry if you want to play Soundhound. Sitting right at the 50-day and starting to bounce up. Needs to get above the 21, but it looks like the momentum and everything is starting to move higher. The green's getting ready to cross. So all of that looks pretty positive right there. That looks like a good entry point for Soundhound. Let's take a look and see if I go to the chart list for my short squeeze. And I don't know if Soundhound is still on it or not. Let's see. Yep, sure is. 30%. 30% of the float is short. So that is also a short squeeze. It has not hit the short squeeze list yet, and that's probably simply because of volume, probably more than anything else. Let's see what the volume looks like. Yeah, volume is pretty low right now, but if this gets volume up above the average line right there, that's the 21-day average. If it gets 125% volume and we still have an up move, so if it gets up here, if it does break through that 21, it's going to end up on the short squeeze alert. So keep an eye if you want to get in early on that one. That might be a good opportunity. So that likely will have a short squeeze on it at some point. All right, let's take a look at the daily scan. This is the Magnificent Seven stocks and more, plus Mag 7 plus, so large cap stocks. So one's going above their 21. Here's Zscaler that I talked about. They do report on Tuesday, so you might want to be careful. However, looks pretty good. After a nice downtrend, they are starting to move higher now. So that might be a good entry point. You can see the ADX, the green is crossing the red. It just started a squeeze. So everything's lining up for Zscaler. This one, of course, it's always risky to do it before earnings, which is on Tuesday. So that's up to you if you want to do that. You can always put a stop down here at about 265. Right now it's at about 280. But Rubrik is on the list. That one's just going sideways. ServiceNow on the list. They've already reported, but they had a big downtrend. So just getting above the 21 again. Momentum starting to move up. So ServiceNow might be a good one. Here's Micron reports next week. So this actually the 24th, I think, is Micron. But that one has a nice, looks like a nice entry for Micron right now as well. CrowdStrike reported yesterday. Sold off, gapped down in the morning, and then came all the way back, sitting right at the 21. So they reported last night after the close, right along with NVDA. So that could be a good entry. And then Arista Networks right here also just pulling back to the 21. That's exactly where you want to see it. So that might be a good opportunity, especially for people that do options. If you trade options, you're looking for stocks like this, strong stocks that have had a good run up, pulling back, and now starting to run again. So you can get a short-term profit potentially with options on that. So let's close. I want to look at the bear side of this. Nothing. And then let's look at the IBD list. So there's Arista Networks again, Cameco, CGA. This is a non-ferrous metals, kind of choppy. So it is in a squeeze right now, and it's getting close to its previous high. So we'll see if it can break through that. So that's the bullish side. Let's look at the bear side for the IBD list. Arquette, that one's heading down. Urban Outfitters, big downtrend on that one. They just reported yesterday. Looks like they missed. And Vive, Viva Systems. This is a software company, also reported yesterday. Looks like they missed as well. So that's heading lower. So those are the bear. And that's in a really long squeeze. Look at that squeeze on this one. Look how sideways this thing has gone. So that is in a huge squeeze right now. Just look at the where the channel is, basically about 295 to about 275. Just staying in that channel through all the way back here since the previous earnings, actually. So interesting. They had earnings that went up, traded sideways, earnings again, and now it's coming down. Will it come all the way back here? Who knows? But that's pretty interesting chart on that one. So keep an eye on that. If it breaks through down here, today it's at 279. If it breaks through 275, this could close the gap down here, down to about 240. So keep an eye on that. All right, that's it for today. Let me know if you have any questions or any stocks you want me to take a look at. Oh, let's look at NVIDIA. Can't stop without looking at NVIDIA at least. See what it's doing. NVIDIA, yeah, pretty much indecision. Traders don't know what to do with it. It went up, it went down. Let's look at it on a 10-minute chart. Here's a 10-minute chart. So opened here, went all the way up, came all the way down, came back, and now rolling over. So will it continue to head lower or will it head higher? No clue on that one. Traders seem confused. Should I take profits and get out? Should I buy the dip, which is likely a lot of retail traders will do. They'll buy the dip, hoping that it would come back and let them have a chance to get in, thinking that 175 is a good chance to get in. I don't think it even made it there. Low was 176, so never made it to 175, but went just below the 21. If you've been putting your orders down here, like I've told a number of people, just put a buy order under the 21. Don't buy it when it's way up here. Put a buy order under the 21 right there. That would have executed today. Now the big question is, will it stay there? So that chandelier exit and the 50-day are right down here. So it's got pretty good support at 170. So we shall see. Be interesting to see what happens. Also, another one interesting is the Qs today. It's heading higher, even with the indecision on NVIDIA. The NASDAQ 100 just wants to go higher. So will it go back to the high like the S&P did? S&P is sitting right there at the high. So here was the high right here. S&P is literally right at it. So are all of these just looking to get back near the high and then that's it? They roll over as we get into September. Who knows? I think the retail traders, the buy the dippers, are jumping in. They don't care how high it is. They just want it to pull back a little bit so they can get in. And that really could just keep pushing the market higher until it doesn't, of course. So there's no way to tell, no way to know what it's going to do one way or the other. You go back to the market bias page, and you can see the market bias chart is really just going sideways. There's indecision there as well. It's got two yellow lights and a green one from yesterday. And then if we look at the charts on these, I will update the expected move after the close today. So you can see it's sitting right on that second resistance for the pivot point right there. I think I'm using Fibonacci. Yeah, this is a Fibonacci level right there. So that's the 68 Fibonacci. So sitting right on it right now. And still have that negative divergence. So I don't know. The market doesn't have a lot of conviction in the move. I think the retail traders are jumping in. You can see the NASDAQ has not made it back to the previous high and it's coming back up to its Fibonacci level. So we'll see if that can hold. If we look at the Russell 2000, which has been the stronger one, actually gapped up and then it's pulling back here at the end of the day. It was above all of its pivot points. These pivot points will change in the new month. This is a daily chart. So when we start September, next Tuesday, we'll have new pivot points for this, and I will change the expected move. It's almost up. 247 was the expected move, so it's still got a little ways to go from last week. It's gonna change the end of today. And then Bitcoin, of course, on here, still in that channel, that downward channel that I drew yesterday. This is still on the chart, so you can see it. It's got a nice move today, nice up move today, but it went right up and basically touched the top of that channel line. So if it gets rejected there, heads back down, it could go back down to the bottom of the channel. Keep an eye on that. Look at the money flow down here. Money flow on Bitcoin is really low. So that's money. That's the RSI. I'm sorry. That's the RSI. Let's, for fun, put money flow on here too. I often like to do that. Put it right behind it. Let's make it pink so it stands out. And a little bit lighter. So yeah, money flow is way down. It's actually way down near the bottom, almost to an extreme level on Bitcoin. So that's interesting that the last couple of days it's moved up and money flow has moved down on Bitcoin, and relative strength is down as well. So interesting on Bitcoin. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. We'll see how it ends, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.